For my final major project, I wanted to make a standalone video that incorporated animation and live action. I also wanted it to show the meaning of how much music means to me, especially when I play the piano. I wanted to do this by making a musical video where a girl goes into a room, finds a piano, and when she plays the piano, when she touches the keys, everything changes to animation. At first, I wanted to use stop motion, and after a discussion with my tutor, I realised that was setting myself a target that's too high, and it would be very, very difficult to do, especially seeing as I haven't done animation before. So after looking at other animation types, including just drawing or using 3D, which I definitely wouldn't have been able to do, I stumbled upon rotoscoping. Rotoscoping is where you trace over the frames, you draw the outline of the person or the background or whatever, and then you either colour it in or you can remove the background. And if you do that for every frame, every different frame, you get a video where when you press play, it will play through and make it look like that person is animated or the background is animated, and it's just you drawing over the top. Now, lots of people say that it's cheating, and it's not. Rotoscoping is also used in many, many different films, and for example, Disney uses rotoscoping in old films such as The Jungle Book and Winnie the Pooh. Many of the scenes are both exactly the same, but with just different characters. So for example, when Christopher Robin jumps over the fence, that is rotoscoped from when Mowgli jumps over rocks. So it's used from the same thing. So in my opinion, I feel that I have met my stated aims. Although, fortunately, I was not able to actually finish rotoscoping the whole of the video, I still managed to come out with a video that incorporated live action, animation, and showed how I felt about music, especially playing the piano. For the parts that I didn't end up getting rotoscoped, I added a different effect on Final Cut Pro called Graphite, and it was the closest I could get to the rotoscoped look, and it just made everything look very black and white. It wasn't the best because it also did remove it removed lots of the detail, and it did make some of the movements of my hands look you couldn't really see them very well. But it still meant that I've come out with a video that it's as consistent as can be. I managed to merge it a little bit, but I've still come out with a video with animation and live action and explores music, which was what my aim was. So my chosen practitioner was Gorgonaut. He was my main practitioner, and he is a YouTuber who creates these incredible YouTube videos that are all rotoscoped. For example, here, Exordium. That was the first rotoscope video I watched, and I remember watching it a very long time ago because I like watching student-made or just fan-made or just randomly made animations, and it is an absolutely stunning rotoscoped film. And I thought, well, yes, definitely, he'd definitely want to be my chosen practitioner because he's been doing it for a few years. I decided to email him, asking him if he could answer a few questions and give me some advice, as this is the first time I've done any animation, let alone rotoscoping. And I did get a response. I got an email response a couple of days later saying that he'd be delighted to, and he gave me lots and lots of information and answers to my questions, which included why did you do rotoscoping, what is the best program to use for it, and are there any technical devices or technology that you need to use for it. So if you compare my video to his video, part of mine's rotoscoped and his is rotoscoped. Obviously his is much better and much more detailed, but you can see that I have taken inspiration from his work with the kind of detail in the faces and just rotoscoping in general. And obviously if I had a lot more time, I would have been able to rotoscope a lot more and put a lot more detail into it. So throughout the project, my idea itself stayed the same. However, the way that it was filmed and the actual editing and animating of it changed quite a lot. One of the big changes was from my storyboard. When filming, I noticed that I did not have enough camera angles or long enough storyboard for the length of that piano piece that I was playing. So at that time, I had to just improvise and add in a few more camera angles, and which turned out to be really, really good. And I'm really happy that I managed to use a range of different camera angles, because I was never good with camera work. I've had to teach myself about it, and I've learned all these new skills from it. Another change that I made was the rotoscoping itself. At first it was just going to be rotoscoping me when I'm playing the piano, and everything would be rotoscoped, including the background. And after a discussion with my tutor, I decided that just leaving the end blank, just non-rotoscoped, it's a little bit boring and it doesn't really have much to it. So I decided to just rotoscope myself and leave the background, and to show that I'm still in my kind of world. And I realised that rotoscoping was much easier and quicker than the rotoscoping that I did for everything, including the background. So I decided to rotoscope the whole thing with just me rotoscoped. And it also gave a very, very good effect towards the end, especially with when I put my bag on my shoulder, how I decided to not rotoscope that, to make it look like an animated character was picking up a real life object, putting it over her shoulder, making it look more realistic and more of a 3D person rather than just a drawing. At first I was going to edit out a large section of the piano piece to give myself less rotoscoping to do, but in the end I didn't even manage to get to that section where I would cut it out, so I just left it in. The graphite filter that I put over the top of the unrotoscoped bits between the piano playing was one of the other big changes that I did, because I was planning on rotoscoping the whole thing, but as I was unable to, I decided to put that over the top so it's not just left blank and unfinished. And I've still come out with like a finished video. I think that my finished video has met my target audience, because it still includes somebody playing the piano and animation and live action. And I went on gov.co.uk to look up what audience like piano and what audience like animation as a whole. I couldn't find rotoscoping because it was too much of a specific type. I think that, yes, it has met them, as I've said, because it has the piano, it has animation and live action, and it incorporates them all as a whole, although I didn't manage to finish the video. I think that my project does reflect on the skills that I have learnt this year, especially editing. My last project that I did with the experimental video was one of the biggest projects that I've done, apart from this one, as it was the first time that I had properly done editing. I had to self-teach myself editing, and I've learned a lot from it, and I've shown in the video that I can edit music, I can edit animated videos, and I can merge videos into one another. I've also shown my different camera angle ideas and my storyboarding. As a result of doing the crime drama project, I've learned more skills on how to use the camera and how to choose which camera angle to use, and I've learned many new skills from this project that I've done, especially animating. I've learned that it is a very, very difficult thing to do. It's a very, very difficult part of media, but once you finish it, or once you finish a section, what you get out of it is incredible. You do get this amazing video which you look back on and you think, wow, I made that, which was my motivation. I can look back on it and watch this animated character come to life and say, that's what I made. I've also learned new ways to use a camera, especially for this vlog right now. This is the first time that I've actually had to use a proper camera on my own and figure out some problems. I had just had a problem right now, well, a few minutes ago, when the camera wasn't working properly and I had no idea what to do and I had a little bit of a freak out, but I've managed to get it back on track by myself, and I've found that if you learn things on your own and have to solve your own problems, I learn much quicker, I learn faster. I've also learned how to edit music and sync up the music. That was one of the hardest parts about my video, because there were some parts I recorded the piano filming and the piano music separately, and there were some parts where it matched perfectly and some parts where it was too fast or too slow and I had to cut it and edit into, which is why the audio in my video isn't as good as I hope. If I was going to do this project again, I would definitely plan ahead a lot more, because when I was doing my production schedule, I gave myself this perfect idea and thought, yeah, I'm able to stay to this, it's all going to be fine, and I did not think of a backup plan, which was my main problem. I thought I'd be able to do this, rotoscoping is very easy to do, it won't take very long, and I completely misjudged what I am actually doing. So I would definitely plan ahead and think of other options, definitely, just in case I would mess up or fail, which I haven't been able to complete it. So, and I didn't have a backup plan, so I had to improvise. I had to just randomly put in that graphic filter. I would also make the video shorter. I would find a smaller piano piece to do, so it gave myself less rotoscoping to do. And I would do a lot more research on rotoscoping itself, not just how to do it. If I had a larger or unlimited budget, one of the first things that I would do was buy the Wacom as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I had to wait for that Wacom. I got it for my birthday. I still managed to get it a month before, but it's still if I managed to get it a couple of weeks earlier, that's a couple of weeks more work that I could have done. I would have definitely thought ahead of the technology things that I may need to use and bought it straight away. I would have also made sure that I could get myself Photoshop on my mum's computer. If I had this, I would have been able to edit at home. I wouldn't have had to come into college and lose lots of time getting to college, coming home from college, and also when people are on the other computers. As I had to use specific computers for my Wacom, because you have to download a software for it, and only a few certain Macs had that software, and I wasn't able to download it because it's on college privacy. I had the Wacom software downloaded on my mum's laptop, so if I did have Photoshop, I would have been able to edit at home, do a lot more work on the weekends, work on times after college, and work on times before college, and I wouldn't have to risk not being able to have a computer. I would have also tried to book out a proper recording room with a real piano in rather than an electronic, because the electronic did give as good a sound, and when I was recording you could hear the keys being pressed down on it because it's an electronic piano. I would have booked out a room, try and book out a studio that probably wouldn't be on college grounds, as I wanted to go somewhere else, so I could get a much crisper sound, better lighting. So my main inspiration for the video was Victor Van Dort's piano solo from Corpse Bride by Tim Burton. That clip has inspired me for as long as I can remember. Corpse Bride is one of my favourite films. It was one of the first films that created my love for animation, and especially that scene, I was so mind blown about how you could animate somebody playing the piano, including pressing the fingers down and the keys down, and ever since then I've just absolutely fallen in love with animating. And whilst I was stuck with an idea, I realised that the idea was kind of clear to me all along, and that's what I should do. You can see the inspiration in my video from the fact that I put the piano in the centre of the room, as done in that Corpse Bride scene, and I also did panning round shots of me playing the piano, which is also done in Victor Van Dort's Corpse when he's playing the piano. I was also inspired by another animated piano video called The Piano, and it was one that I heard very, very long time ago when I was in primary school. I think the research that I did definitely had impact on my work. It helped me understand what society and the world thinks of animation, and also I learned a lot more things, especially about the male gaze, even though the male gaze and other ethnicity issues do not apply to my video as it is animated and piano work. The only issue that would apply to my work would be copyright for the piece that I played, but I have credited it, and I have credited the other people who were involved in my video. So that was my evaluation for my final major project that I've done for media at Exeter College. Overall, yes, I do feel that I am happy with my video. Although I haven't been able to finish it, I've still come out with a video that incorporates live action, music and animation, which was my main aim. I've definitely been inspired by my practitioner, Gorgonaut, links in the description below, and the Victor Van Dort solo, which I will also link down. So yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah.